Do you have X-ray vision, or is it just your heart that sees beyond my masks, my lies, and my silence? You looked into me like you'd known the chaos living inside my ribs, the kind no one else dared to notice. Everyone else saw my smile. You saw the storm behind it. That's how I knew you were dangerous. You didn't just look at me, you looked through me, like you were reading a story I'd buried long ago. How did you find the wound I've been hiding for years? And why did you touch it so softly? It's terrifying how you see the pain I disguise as peace, like you have X-ray eyes made of empathy. I thought I'd built walls high enough, but you saw right through them like they were made of glass. When you looked at me, I felt stripped of all my defenses, and for the first time, I didn't want to hide. You see the parts of me I've never even admitted to myself. It's thrilling and unsettling at the same time. No one else noticed how I flinch when I feel loved, but you did, and that's when I knew I was seen. You didn't fall for my charm. You saw the fear hiding behind it, and somehow you stayed. There's something haunting about the way you notice the cracks I carefully paint over every morning. You looked at my silence and understood it louder than my words ever could. I've met people who stared, but you're the only one who understood what they were staring at. Maybe your eyes aren't human. They're portals to a truth no one else is brave enough to face. You saw the tremor in my laughter, the hesitation in my love, the exhaustion in my strength. I tried to distract you with my light, but you were too drawn to my shadows. No one else ever noticed that I apologize with my eyes long before I opened my mouth. You did. You have this dangerous habit of seeing beauty in people who are breaking. I was one of them. You didn't just notice me. You understood the ache I'd been pretending wasn't there. You saw how I build jokes to cover grief, and you laughed anyway, not to mock, but to comfort. I didn't know being seen could feel so intimate, like undressing the soul without touching skin. You have this gift of seeing the light people hide and the darkness they're ashamed to admit. You didn't ask for the version of me that smiles. You wanted the version that trembles. Everyone else complimented my strength. You questioned it, and that's how you reached me. You saw how I shrink when I'm praised, how I flinch when I'm loved. That's not normal sight. Maybe it's not X-ray vision. Maybe it's that your heart listens when others only look. When your eyes met mine, I felt like every secret I've ever buried was suddenly whispering your name. You looked at my eyes like they were confessions, and somehow you forgave them. Everyone noticed my energy. You noticed my exhaustion, That's what made me trust you. You're the kind of person who sees ghosts in people, the parts they left behind to survive. You saw the way my smile didn't reach my eyes, and you didn't call it fake. You called it brave. You didn't fall for my perfection. You fell for the way I kept trying to heal what broke me. I didn't realize how visible my pain was until I saw it reflected in your eyes. Your gaze felt like a diagnosis, gentle but too accurate to ignore. You see me like a painting under cracked glass, flawed, fragile, but still worth looking at. You read my silence like poetry, my scars like punctuation. You made sense of my chaos. When you looked at me, it wasn't curiosity, it was recognition, like you'd lived that pain too. You noticed the storm I was trying to calm with forced smiles and unfinished prayers. You saw my brokenness not as damage, but as depth, and that changed everything. Everyone else saw what I showed. You saw what I suppressed. That's real vision. You saw the part of me that's tired of pretending, and you didn't run. You stayed. Your eyes didn't just observe. They listened, understood, and held space for what others ignored. When you said, "Are you okay?" I knew you already knew the answer. You just wanted me to feel safe saying no. You see beyond my "I'm fine," and somehow that's the most intimate thing anyone's ever done. You saw through my laughter and straight into my loneliness, and it didn't scare you away. You have this way of making me feel seen without feeling exposed. It's magic or danger. You didn't just see the wound, you saw the reason I kept reopening it. Maybe your eyes are mirrors made of truth, reflecting who I really am when I forget. Everyone else heard my words. You felt my silence. That's what makes you unforgettable. You don't see what's pretty, you see what's real. That's why people fear your gaze. You saw how my heart beats faster when I lie about being okay. No one's ever seen that before. You look at me like I'm an open book written in invisible ink, and you're the only one who can read it. You see my fear before I even feel it, and somehow your presence makes it bearable. No one else noticed the way my hands tremble when I'm near love, but you did. You see the broken pieces I hide behind laughter, and you make them feel whole. You don't just look at me, you study the spaces between my words and my heart. You saw the chaos in my mind and didn't run. You stayed quietly, and that's dangerous. It's unsettling how you notice the weight I carry silently, like you've been carrying it too. You see through my lies like they're fragile glass, and I don't even want to hide anymore. I've spent years invisible, but you saw me, and it hurt in a beautiful way. You look at me like you know the battles I fight alone, and you respect them. You noticed the sorrow I bury in my chest and treated it like a secret garden, not a curse. I didn't realize I craved being seen until your eyes found every scar I tried to hide. You see the depth behind my smile, and it terrifies me how safe I feel with you. Everyone else sees a mask. You see the trembling soul behind it, and that makes me vulnerable. You have the habit of noticing the parts of me I wish I could erase, and loving them anyway. When I hide, you find me. When I shrink, you reach out. You notice the unseen me. You don't just look, you understand. And understanding is something no one has ever given me. You noticed the cracks in my armor and whispered that they make me beautiful, not broken. You saw the storms I survived in silence and made me feel proud for enduring them. I never believed anyone could see my truth until you proved it. You notice the subtle tremor in my voice when I lie about being fine, and you call me on it. You saw the history behind my scars and never once judged me for the pain I carry. I didn't know someone could see through my smiles, my jokes, my bravado, but you do. You notice my hesitations, my second guesses, my quiet heartbreak, and you stay anyway. You look at me like you've read my soul and still choose to stay in the room. You notice my silence when I'm drowning inside, and you hold me like I'll survive. Everyone else ignores my chaos, but you read it like a map leading straight to me. You see me before I even exist in the world's eyes, and that's terrifyingly beautiful. You noticed the loneliness I try to hide and somehow made me feel less alone. Your gaze penetrates the parts of me I don't even recognize myself, and it hurts in the right way. You see the weight of my thoughts and lift it with nothing but your presence. You notice when I'm pretending to be strong and still treat me with tender care. You saw my imperfections, counted them, and whispered that they make me real. You noticed my fear of love before I even realized it existed, and that changes everything. You saw the me that no one else bothers to look for, and somehow you liked her. You see the truth behind my deflections and make me feel safe admitting it. You notice the tension in my hands when I lie about being fine, and you ease it. You noticed the shadows behind my eyes and made me feel illuminated. You see the storm I carry, and instead of fleeing, you dance in it with me. You notice the small betrayals I commit against myself and remind me I'm worth more. You saw the parts of me I hide even from myself and made them feel valuable. You notice the tremor in my laugh, the pause in my speech, the pain behind my smiles. You saw through my walls and somehow turned my vulnerability into a magnet for safety. You notice what everyone else overlooks: the beauty in my brokenness and the truth in my chaos. You saw the fragility in my confidence and still treated me as if I were strong. You notice the words I leave unsaid, the thoughts I hide and make me feel understood. You saw my exhaustion and gave me a reason to rest in your presence. You notice when I shrink, when I'm small, when I try to disappear, and you pull me closer. You saw the me that hides behind jokes, laughter, and distractions, and stayed. You notice the cracks in my smile and the tremor in my voice, and it feels like home. You see me in ways no one else does, and it terrifies me how much I need that. You notice when I'm breaking and don't turn away, and that's dangerous in the most beautiful way. You see the ghost of who I was, the me I pretend not to be, and you embrace her. You noticed the subtle panic in my chest when I'm happy, and you let me feel it anyway. You see the me that's too tired to explain, and still you lean in to understand. You notice what's hidden behind my bravado and treat it like it matters, like I matter. You saw the invisible battles I fight and offered a hand before I even asked. You notice my silence and my noise equally, and somehow that's enough to make me trust you. You saw the me that no one else bothers to see, the real, raw, fragile me, and stayed.